China has released a pretty ridiculous statement. This is coming from the Foreign Ministry spokeswoman. They were talking about the Department of Energy, a confirmation really that likely that COVID came from a lab in Wuhan, something that we've all said and all known for years, but now you're hearing confirmation from the Department of Energy. But Mao Ning, a Chinese Foreign Ministry spokeswoman, said specifically that this should not be politicized. COVID tracing is a scientific issue and should not be politicized, and also claimed, that we need to stop defaming China.
Well, if they want to stop being what they call defamed, maybe they should stop secret police stations in the United States. Yeah. Maybe they should stop buying up farmland next to military institutions. Maybe they should stop their spy balloon program that gathers signal intelligence from the United States. Genocide against the Uyghurs, that would be a good thing to stop if they don't like being defamed. Maybe the oppression of other religious minorities in China. How about the cover-up of the pandemic? All of these things would easily be something that they could stop doing, and maybe we would stop raising them and they wouldn't feel like they're being defamed.
Jackie Heinrich, Fox News, who was there as a White House correspondent, asked this during the press briefing that happens every day, most days. This is with KJP. You'll hear her respond, the press secretary. So here's the question. This specifically has to do with now the no longer conspiracy theory of the lab leak.
There was not so long ago a point where anyone asking the question of whether a lab leak was a credible theory that should be looked into, a lot of those people were derided as fringe, conspiracy theorists. So are there lessons learned, looking back about how we discuss theories when we don't have all of the answers?
So here's what I can tell you is the president's commitment to getting to the bottom of this, right? That is what's the most important, so that we can share this with Congress, we can share this with the American people. That is why he asked the IC to do its work. And right now, there is no consensus. There is no consensus. You heard this from Jake Sullivan yesterday. You heard this from my colleague just moments ago. And we're going to do everything that we can. The president is asking his team to do everything that they can to figure out where it originated, because of what could potentially happen next, because of the potential of having another pandemic. And I think that's what's most important. That's what the American people should have confidence in, is that you have a president that wants to get to the bottom of this.
That doesn't make you feel good at all, does it? Doesn't make me feel great to hear that kind of statement coming through, that there really is no consensus. We just are now open to options. A year ago, 2 years ago, you would have said those things on the internet. You have been thrown off. Senator Blackburn, news broke, obviously, just over the weekend, that the Department of Energy believes that the COVID virus came from that lab in Wuhan and was leaked. I'm curious what your reaction was to that news, and what do you think needs to be done with it now that you have this information?
Yes, well, my reaction to that news was, yes, just as we had said this was probably coming from that lab, we find out that it is.
Some of your colleagues are wanting the intelligence from the DOE to be declassified. They want that to have some transparency to the American people. How do you feel about that? Do you support that as well, that we need to actually know this information? That sure, they can come out and say, yeah, we think it now was the lab leak, but maybe they need to give us a little more information of why they're confirming what we've all thought.
There are many of us that would like to look at this documentation, and we have the right to see this, even if it's still classified. We have the right to go to the SCIF and to review this and to see what it is they have, see if it matches up with other things that we have been told by our diplomatic scientists. Bear in mind, you've got over 1 million Americans that lost their lives. You have tens of millions of American families that were affected because of loss of a loved one or loss of a livelihood, or children that now have issues from the lockdowns, people that have long-term COVID, young people that have developed myocarditis. And there needs to be transparency and answers around this. If we don't provide that transparency, then how do we say, here are the lessons learned? How do we say, this is how we combat this? This is how we go forward? And President Biden could do something about this today. if he were willing to be
Right.
tough on the Chinese Communist Party, if he were willing to say, look, you had the biggest, we had the biggest trade deficit we've ever had with you. You imported more than ever into the U.S. last year, and we are getting ready to halt that until we get these answers.
So we can actually have some form of confirmation that this isn't just another idea of, this is one rogue agent who said that theory is correct. What is the data that proves that? And I think we need to do that. Even if we all know, we've all really believed that for a long time, it'd be nice to have that backup to actually say, no, this is what it is.